This is Michael Promo with the Top Cut. We have a top 8 match for you from Virginia Regionals. On our left, we have Stephen Varesko. He's playing ZPST. And on our right, we have Nick Kirkpatrick. He's playing Stage 1s, Jan Mega, Cincino, Weavile. We have a die roll. And I'm not sure who goes first here, but we'll find out in a minute. Yeah, and so this matchup is pretty even actually. As long as Zekrom doesn't turn anyone, then stage ones can really pull it out there. Like with Weevil, with Cincino, all the damage just adds up so nicely. Especially if stage one plays Loss Remover. That's going to be the key. If he plays Loss Remover, he should be a favorite. If not, well then we'll see. And Nick's deck is also featuring Mew Prime, so that's going to add in a lot of good tricks for him. We have a Dual Ball, getting a Tornadus, and this is a dangerous situation for Nick. Like with the right flips and the right card combinations, he could be staring down a turn 1 Tornadus hitting for 80, and that's the one thing you don't want to see as stage 1. You don't want to see your Pokemon knocked out in the very first turn. It usually means a lot of trouble. We have a Super Scoop Up, Tails, and let's see what he's going to do from here. Self-generation. Oh, only for 1. Okay, so he's not a very strong hand, but ZPST can always just draw amazing and just have a good Shaman, either a Super Scoop Up, a DCE, and we could be seeing a knocked out Mew. But it doesn't look too likely. I think Nick is probably safe for now. He's going to be able to set up his turn, and that's the edge he needs in this matchup. So here we go. Draws a 6, and let's see here. Oh, plays a Lightning, and that's pretty much going to be his turn. Yep, there we go. Now it's next turn. He's probably really happy with the way this turned out. He had to go second, so that was a little unfortunate. But things could have been worse. He could have been down a prize already. So yeah, things are looking good for him. I'm not sure what you would Lost Zone in this situation. I guess Lost Zoning a Zekrom would be pretty good. Or not a Zekrom, a Zoroark. Yeah, Lost Zoning a Zoroark would be pretty good, because then you could catch up the Zekroms and Bolt Strike it. The matchup really hinges around Zekrom, waiting for it to Bolt Strike and maybe getting it before it can Bolt Strike. To Tornadus, not really much of an issue because of Cincino. You can just go Cincino plus power, do the wave, knocks out a Tornadus pretty easily. But yeah, and we have a DCE for Nick here, and yep. My apologies, it's a Psychic on Mincino. And yeah, we have so DCE comes down, and this is looking pretty dangerous, to be honest. I'm not sure. You really need to get that pressure on, but knocking out a Mew isn't a very optimal play. You kind of want to just hold your horses until you can get that catcher to knock out Mincino. So even if he has Shaman, I don't really think using it right now just to knock out a Mew would be very strong. But if he has the catcher, then yeah, he's in great shape, because not all Nick needs now is a Cincino and a bunch of basics and a plus power, and he could knock out that Tornadus. But since that is a Psychic, may not happen. That is quite a lot to be asking for. So there goes a Juniper. Looks like he discarded a Judge, catcher. So that catcher in the discard is actually nice for Nick. He's going to be able to junk arm that later on, and his junk arms are going to be pretty dangerous from here on out. So I see a basic, he really needs that plus power. If not, then he's going to need to try and buy a turn. Probably doesn't have it, so maybe expecting an Eek coming in. You definitely don't want to give up 2 prizes. That would be much too dangerous. So we'll see what happens from here. Yep, we have an Eek coming up, and yeah, well, Nick's really gonna need this to be tails. Uh, Losing those prizes so early against ZPST is just so dangerous for you. Like, the deck just thrives on early aggression, and yep, here we go, tails. Yeah, so things have been actually working out pretty well for Nick. He's got a Cincino out. He's got a couple of basics. His Clef is asleep. If Nick doesn't hit or if Steven doesn't hit catcher, then Nick's going to be in great shape. Great shape. Though that Tornadus, the longer it stays out there, the more energy Steven's going to have on his field, and it's, a Zekrom deck with that much energy on the field is just so dangerous. You can Bolt Strike. You can do such a massive amount of damage for really so little. Okay, then we have a Sage. And let's see what he discards here. Discards Lightning, Juniper, and some other card. Steven's hand looks pretty solid. I saw another Sage in his hand from earlier. He has dual balls. He has really everything he needs right now, except for catcher. But if he doesn't have catcher, then it looks like it's just going to be energy pass. Yeah. Now Nick, Nick, he's not running hot enough to wake up and then knock out Tornadus. That would be too good. But Nick is still in pretty decent shape actually. He still hasn't lost another prize yet, and he gets to set up his board more, because once you set up against Zekrom Tornadus, then you're probably gonna win. Not gonna lie, like you're gonna. The whole purpose of the Zekrom deck is to prevent you from setting up. So if you can actually set up yourself, then yeah. And we have a collector, so he's going to be able to reach his maxed out bench, which will enable Do the Wave to do 100. And let's see what he gets here. Probably wants. Yeah, he definitely needs that Weevil coming out. Weevil is going to be able to disarm Steven. Like, if you catch... Weevil's really huge in this matchup. If you catch them with just one basic, or one supporter, or maybe just their lone catcher, then you can really put them on a dead draw. And your Pokemon can just clean them up from there on. So, the Muse... An interesting thing about the Muse, they're kind of useless in this matchup, but they're great for the Gothitelle matchup. They really destroyed Gothitelle. Gothitelle, like, it's weak to Psychic, so all you have to do is see off anyone who has a decent attack, and then you can just one-shot a Gothitelle. So, let's see, we have another Sage. It gets rid of Junk Arm. The two cards he must have picked up with Sage has to be amazing. Oh, I think he took 2 catchers. Wow, that's impressive. He really wants to get a Zekrom out though. 3 energies on a Tornadus is a little excessive. He definitely wants to get that Zekrom out. Start powering that up. But it looks like Steven's hand is just relying on Sage. He has 1 catcher, 1 Sage, and that's pretty much it. That double dual ball tails earlier really hurt him. Let's see. Nick really he needs to deal with this Tornadus right now. He really has to. If he can get a Weevil out, snag the stage, and then knock out Tornadus, then he'll lose the uh, Cincino. Mm. This is actually a really rough spot for Nick. He's because then there's a bench Tornadus on the bench. Or there's a bench Tornadus, and yeah, plays the plus power, goes for the Oak. He needs to hit energy. I would have liked to see a third Mincino another Mincino out of that collector from the previous turn. Maybe it's prized, but yeah, you really need. That's really the backbone of this matchup for the stage one deck is Cincino. So the Yanmegas, they're okay, but they're not that great in this matchup. Yanmega's weak to lightning. Zekrom happens to be lightning. It just doesn't work out. So here we go, and there's a DCE in Nick's hand, so he does have the energy. He will be scoring a knockout this turn, but let's see if he has anything to follow it up with. A catcher would be very good here, actually. Being able to knock out that 3 lightning Tornadus would be so huge. So we have a Weevil coming down. Weevil, his 2 picks are going to have to be Sage or plus power. You probably, if you get rid of the Sage, you declaw him for the rest of the game. But that plus power and the catcher is so dangerous. You really have to have a strong hand to get rid of that. Be confident enough to get rid of Sage. Otherwise, you want to get rid of plus power, so your Cincino will possibly live a turn. He did already get rid of a Junk Arm, so he's got that going for him. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. There's 2. No, that's a catcher. I think that was probably the worst pick. Yeah, he didn't achieve anything really with that catcher. The Cincino's still gonna get knocked out, and Steven's still gonna be able to draw cards. So, yeah, that's fortunate for Steven. And now he's just there's the plus power. Sage comes down. There's the Juniper. Yeah, that's just unfortunate. Unfortunate. I think I saw a Juniper in there. Yeah, he even has the Zekrom. Everything's just going right for Steven. And yeah, there's a knockout, and I'm going to be honest, Nick is probably dead from here on out. Yeah, or rather, he has an Oak. Steven has an Oak. So, yeah, Nick's pretty dead. Like, you just Oak, and then you power up another Zekrom, and you just play catcher. If he knocks out that Mincino, then the game's pretty much over. Yanmega's definitely not going to do the job. Not against that. And this is really where starting double Mew is hurting him so much. The Mews just stay there. They can't contribute in any way. And Mew helps your Gothitelle matchup, but it absolutely hurts you so much all your other matchups. It just makes your deck much weaker against them. So here we go, and let's see what Nick has in store. I see a Psychic. Yep, there's a Psychic. He has a Juniper in his hand, so his hand's not bad. But he's gonna need some help. Even if he gets another Cincino out, he would have to back it up with a plus power to knock out that Tornadus. And by then you're dealing with a Zekrom. And the only real way to deal with Zekrom for stage 1s is to use Bouffalant. Bolt Strike, they take 40, and then Bouffalant does 90. It kind of just adds up to the exact math. And afterwards, using Head Charge with Bouffalant is really good too. I know I've done that when playing this matchup. You just attack DCE, Revenge, DCE, Head Charge, and then just swing for the hills. What's What's the worst that's gonna happen? Buffon gets knocked out. Well, probably didn't expect it to come back to your bench alive anyways. Oh wow, everything's going right for Steven. He draws the catcher, and yeah, just knocks it out. Um, yep. Nick, Nick's really just too far behind. He has a Yan Mega, but he's out of Mencinos, and unless he plays a 4-4 line, which I doubt, but you know things could happen. I've seen stranger things. Yeah, he's all Zekrom at this point can just go bolt strike, and that's game over. Catcher at any point's game over, and Steven still has draw cards, so we're just we're just waiting for the formalities here. Yep. And so let's see what could have Nick done differently. Well, that Weevil was the key point in the matchup, I believe. If he had hit the plus power, then your Cincino may have lived. It would have been able to take down another Tornadus possibly, and you would have been able to set up even more. You would have been able to get at another attacker, power up some more guys, get a better hand, and that claw snag didn't really achieve much. Yeah, he like honestly, you want him to catch her. You want him to not deal with Cincino because your Cincino is doing so much damage that they just can't keep up. And yeah, so that was really the end point for Nick. As soon as he claw snagged the catcher, so but Steven's been he does play a fourth Mencino, but catcher. It's just it's so good in this format. It really defines this regionals format. And let's see. Yeah, he's probably just gonna play Mencino down and hope for the best, but that's yeah, all Steven has to do, play, punt, hope for a junk armor or catcher, and then he just catchers around Cleffa for the rest of the game. So yeah, come on, Nick. And an interesting note about Steven's deck, he does play Energy Search. I'm kind of torn. I think I saw like two or three. Uh, I don't really like Energy Search in that big of a number, and clearly Energy Search is good because like you have a Lightning Energy and you have a Junk Arm. You have some cards you don't want. You can get that second energy for Pachirisu. That's good, right? But when you play it in so many numbers of Energy Search, you're doing one of two things. You're cutting down on cards that just make you win, like you're cutting down on plus powers, you're cutting down on catchers, or you're cutting down on consistency. That, or you're cutting down on energy itself, which means in the later game, the longer the game goes, the less likely you are going to be able to attach energy. So, we have a catcher. Yeah, this is just a stall tactic. He's gonna probably try and match hand sizes, and then oh no, there's an eek. Yeah. Well, all Nick he needs, or all Steven needs here is just use that energy surge, yeah, and just retreat, get a catcher, and then by then it'll be 5-1 price count. So yeah, this game kind of it went out how Zekrom Tornadus wanted it to go. He wanted to get that early prize. Just kept stage one, Cincino, Yanmega, Weevil. He just kept that deck off its Cincinos. Like yeah, he got one out, but that was quickly dealt with, and then another one never really came out again after that. I saw a bunch of energy in Steven's hand. Yep, but there's the catcher, and yep, there's Hurricane. Yeah, there's there's the GG. Yeah, Nick was kind of hoping that his one Mencino would go all the way. Unfortunately, that at that point it was just too late in the game for that to happen. He would have had to take out uh, Tornadus and then hope Nick or hope Steven attacks with Zekrom, and then just kind of hope that he could Nick just kind of or Steven just kind of draws dead after that. But hey, so we're shuffling on the game two. Nick's gonna get the choice, so he's gonna be able to go first. He's gonna be able to hopefully stop Steven from blowing up turn one. I mean, like Steven can still blow up turn one, but it's not going to be very effective against a full board of basics that any one of them can just do so much damage. Yanmega is really good early game against Zekrom Tornadus. You can take that. You can Sonic Boom those Pachirisus. You can Sonic Boom those Shamans, and all you're really looking for is prize trades there. Because what's really going to put you ahead of prizes is your Weevils and Cinccino's. So the whole matchup for Stage 1 really depends on those Cinccino's and Weevils. While Zekrom just kind of goes, you know what, I'm just going to sit here, attack. Do you have an answer? No? Well, I guess I just win. If you do have an answer, well, I guess we'll play a game. But yeah, these guys are already shuffled up, and we're gonna get started with game two. Okay, here we go. And let's see, we have we have a basic for Steven. Let's see what Nick gets. Nick's game was kind of doomed from the start when he started double Mew. That was really unfortunate. It just clogged up his bench too much. He couldn't play down multiple Mincinos down, and that's what really you need to do. So we have a Sneasel start from Nick. He has a lot of basics down. It's pretty good, actually. Unfortunately for Nick, he's staring down a collector with a bunch of energy. Woo! We're in for a game. But it's another Pachirisu start. Nick, again with the Mew. Sometimes I wonder, but I suppose if he has a psychic in his hand, he could see off like a Cinccino. Yeah, turn one see off is actually decent here. You can see off the Cinccino, and then all your Mews turn into Cincinos. Ooh, Judge turn one. Okay, this got interesting. This got interesting very quickly. Nick's going to be in a huge lead here. He plays a lot of draw supporters, a lot of collectors. He doesn't really need much. Whereas the one thing Zekrom needs is cards. He needs energy cards, Pokemon. It's a combo deck, so it just needs all these cards to just get out and attack. So we'll see what they draw off this turn one Judge. Okay. And Steven continues to draw good. Draw really well. He has the run goods, folks. He has... I don't think you can actually ask for a better hand. DCE, Collector, Lightning, and Pont? I don't think you can actually ask for a better hand here. I mean, it gets kind of cruel if he draws an Energy Search or a Lightning. I would feel really bad for Nick. Let's see what he gets. That actually wasn't a... that's actually not the draw he wants to see. He wanted to see another energy card. But, those other 4 cards are pretty good. As for Nick, he didn't play anything down after that Judge, so I wonder what he's holding. Let's see here. Probably gonna Collector for... I don't actually know what he's gonna Collector for here. You probably collect it for a bunch of basics, yeah. Or not a bunch of big basics. The Patchy, okay, I can kind of dig that. If he draws a Lightning next turn, that would be good. You just play down Tornadus, play the DCE on the Tornadus, and then you just pass. No need to rush it. No need to rush it. You know, it's not your best start because of that judge, but hey, you're in good shape. Let's see if he actually. I don't know. Well, I guess he's playing around loss remover, but he just made getting that Pachirisu completely useless. There's no. It's actually impossible for him to draw two lightning in his next one card. So, uh, yeah, that you know, yeah, that's. Oh man, if a Weevil comes down here, hits that Professor Oak's new theory, game might be over. Let's see. Let's see if he gets it. Let's see what you get, Nick. What's it gonna be? Is it gonna be Yanmega? Gonna be Mincino? Gonna be Weevil? Maybe his hand already has the Yep, there's the Weevil. All right. Now, I hope we learned our lesson from the last game. Last game, we got the card that really didn't mean anything. So hopefully this game he just negates that draw from Zekrom because Zekrom Tornadoes. That's what that deck needs. It needs a lot of cards, and if you can shut that off, well then you're in really good shape. So let's see here. He's going to accept the deck that's just been shuffled and Claw Snag. You can't. Let's go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, real easy choice there. Steven's kinda in a lot of trouble. We even had a Juniper coming down, so that's how strong this hand is. I think I saw a Collector in there. Yeah, you may have been able to just be like, you know what? You're probably not drawing a supporter next turn. I'm just gonna Collector, get some basics down, and just see what I can do. Maybe get another Sneasel. But if he has another energy, he can just start doing the wave. Uh, Probably want to just start taking a bunch of prizes here. Just try to get as ahead as you can. You know, he's starting to reach the hand count where he might be able to match up for Yanmega. That would be very optimal. Saves that Mew, and you don't really care about your Yanmegas. They're very expendable in this matchup. But we're just gonna we're just gonna do that first attack off Cincino. And here we go. 1, 2, yep. Feels good. Yeah, so we have a plus power off the top. He already knows what's in his hand. I feel like you maybe could have afforded to play that DCE down. What's the worst that can happen? Your Tornadus gets knocked out. Well, if your Tornadus gets knocked out at this point anyways, you're probably in a really poor shape. So, put your all. You might as well just. That's one thing. One thing a lot of top players do. They they play like they're going to draw a card. Um, like they just predict. At least I know personally, you can just predict what the best possible card is you can draw, and then you just play like you're going to draw that card. Because what's the worst that can happen? You don't draw that card. Well, you probably already lost anyways. So at least by playing like you're going to top deck something that will put you back into the game, it gives you that option to take full advantage of that opportunity. But Steven decides to just hold his DCE. It may work out. And yeah, we're probably just going to see a do the wave here. Or maybe another Mew hit. I don't really care for that. I really want to see that since get that for sure knockout. The catcher comes in too. Does he even have the plus? Yeah, he already played the plus power, so that's a knockout. Yeah, there he goes. And he's just holding. Yeah, holds the DCE. It's not like Nick didn't see the DCE. Yeah. um, I, I, there's, I mean, I guess you're playing against Loss Remover, but then at this point, what's the point? Because you can just attack with Yan Mega and then just be like, hey, you know what? Don't care what's in your hand. I'm just going to attack. So yeah, I would have. I would really like to see a Yan Mega hit here, or even you can even sit there with Cincino and attack. That's fine because you got to get that turn 1C off. So this game's really going in Nick's favor. It's going to be. I'm not going to say it's going to be hard for him to lose because Zekrum's bench is empty pretty much, and anything can happen from an empty bench. Uh, he could have that turn 1 explosion. I guess we're 5 or 6 turns into the game. It could happen. So. See a catcher, yeah, definitely want to just nab that extra prize. Just try and pull as far ahead as possible before uh, ZPST gets a chance to set up. Another plus power, I'm sorry, that's a dual ball. And yeah, I mean the only thing he can really get here, he has all his setup Pokemon. He just needs to get big basics. Try to wall him in. Probably get a Zekrom and a Tornadus. Or is it just one? No. Thought I saw 2, but could just be 1. Yep, just gonna get a Tornadus. Yeah, it's okay. Uh, may have liked to see a Zekrom coming down, just to give you more health to play around, but Tornadus is pretty good. Nick really doesn't want to attack into that Zekrom. He's gonna lose anyone he attacks. He's gonna lose the Pokemon he attacks with if he attacks into that Zekrom. That's why I kind of would have liked to see double Zekrom come out. That way, you don't just kind of groan when another catcher and a plus power comes down for Nick, if it happens. But he's already used a catcher, so it may not happen. We have a retreat coming in from Nick, who needs to pay that energy cost to retreat. Okay. Okay, yeah. Apparently, Cincino has free retreats. Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe that. I'm not looking at the scan of a card or at the actual Cincino right now, and the card is a little small. So, it may have free retreat, but to my recollection, I thought it had 1 retreat cost. Guess I'm wrong. Or they're wrong. We'll see. Anyways, has a nice Juniper, but unfortunately, his hand was so loaded with basics. Wow, he just lost a lot of basic Pokemon from that Juniper. So he's really hurting now. He lost two Shaman, 2 Pachirisu, but I believe he plays a 3/3 line on both. Yeah, there's another Shaman. So he's going to be in pretty good shape. Unfortunately, that Cincino with the DCE, the multiple Mews, Nick just has the answer for everything this game. It's going to be really hard for Steven to catch up, but, it could happen. Let's see. And we have a copycat. Let's see here. What is Nick trying to do? Well, he wants to Sonic Boom again. The Yan Mega, really expendable, really easy attacker. Just get that Sonic Boom in, and then you are good to go. You want to keep those Mews alive, those Cincinos alive for the later part of the game. He's only at 4 prizes, so don't looking at the prize count, the game is still close, but just board position alone, Nick is just dominating, and it really stems from that claw snag. That if Nick didn't do it right there, Steven could have just went crazy with his draw. But that could have happened last game. He could have knocked out a bunch of he could have gotten rid of the Sage from last game and just been in great shape altogether. He did just play Copycat, so Jan Mega is still an option. He was kind of mulling over attaching, but you can't do that, or else you get to use Jan Mega. So, yep. Let's see. I believe he's out of Pachirisu, so he's gonna need to super scoop up that bench Pachirisu. Um, it may if Nick had a catcher, it may have been possible. Well, maybe he does have another Pachirisu. Maybe I just miscounted. Because I did see a super scoop up going to the discard from that stage. So he actually probably does have another Pachirisu because I saw the Shaman. And if he can just self generation for 2 DCE, get that catcher in, start taking surprises, he can come back into this game very quickly. And there's a... Well, we'll find out what he gets in a second. Da-da-da. Tornado Shaman. Okay. Well, that's not a Pachirisu. Let's see how he plans to get out of this one and starts attacking. But this is a timed game, so Steven doesn't want to play a long game 3. It's actually towards Steven's advantage if the game goes on for as long as possible. So, trying to stay alive for as long as possible is going to work out into his advantage, because even if he loses this game, he's going to be able to go first game 3. And for Zekrom, in a sudden death situation, nothing can be better. That's literally your best situation you can possibly get into going into a game 3. You're just so likely. The odds are good enough so where you can just pull out a one prize win right away. Well, he does get that super scoop up he discarded earlier. A little gambly, I don't understand why he got that dual ball instead of the super scoop up, but hey, whatever. He could have saved that Shaman. He might be trying to play around Jan Mega, but that's not really an issue because of judges and copycats. If Nick's gonna just match up hands anyways, he's just gonna match up hands, and it's just much more advantageous to just start trying to catch up in this game. Trying to knock out those Mews. Those Mews are really dangerous right now, and they have been since turn 1. Let's see here. He's maybe trying to play around catcher, because Nick is only at 3 prizes left. If he plays too many basics down, then Nick may win, but I feel like for Zekrom, the best defense is a really, really, really ridiculous offense. So just by keeping your opponent with nothing they can attack with is much stronger than trying to keep yourself alive by not attacking. But yep, here we go, and we're probably just gonna see a do the wave. And yep, come on. Catcher, yes. Very good. He really needs that plus power, though, for this to make any sense. And here comes that Cincino. Do we have a plus power? Or is it just going to be 400? If it's just 400, this play is actually wasteful. You didn't need to play that catcher. Yep, there's the plus power. Knockout. Okay, so pretty good for Nick. But Steven's still just going to end up playing down that Shaman. Yeah, so there was really no point in not attacking last turn. It just kind of... He just didn't, which was weird. So yep, there's a catcher. Oh, no. Junk Arm for plus power. Yeah, he's going to knock out that Cincino. But if Nick just has another plus power, Junk Arm, anything like that, then the game is probably over at that point. Yep, dual ball. Going in. And probably gets a Zekrom here. Or that or another Tornadus. Oh, gets nothing. He might be out of basics. Wow. He hasn't taken many prizes, and he's been through a couple Tornaduses and Zekrom already. He's been through a few of those guys, so, the rest of them may just be prized. Unfortunate, but, Yep, there's a Hurricane. And, all Nick needs is either 2 catchers or a plus power or a plus power catcher. There's just so many combinations for Nick to win this game. And let's see what we get here. Another Mencino comes down. Yep, DCE. You probably could have held that DCE because the DCE can always go onto the Mew, so you don't actually want to waste it yet. Because if that Mencino does get knocked out, but it probably doesn't even matter at this point. Just one of those things where you can just clean up your play a little bit. Just try to be most efficient with the cards you have. Yep. And Junk Arm. Yep, there's the plus power. Knocks out the Tornadus. All in all, unless I missed the Psychic from a retreating Cincino, or he played a switch and I just didn't see it or something. Honestly, the energy attached to that Cincino probably didn't matter because he does have the DCE, but it's just something lingering. Yeah, but the game's pretty much over. Probably gonna see maybe a Shocking Bolt and a plus power just for the lulz. Just be like, hey, at least I took 3 prizes. Haha, and Pachirisu got in there for... Pachirisu is actually a very good attacker in this matchup. You can knock out so many things with Pachirisu. Pachirisu plus power knocks out anything. So the potential to turn 1 Nick in this matchup is so huge. Because you don't have to have a Zekrom and a Tornadus to knock out your opponent. You could actually just start with Pachirisu. Oh, play Collector. I have 2 lightning. 2 lightning. Shaman up the energy from the bench Pachirisu. Plus power knockout. That's all it takes. But we have a catcher here. And yeah, he's just... Yep, he's just going for a pass. Okay, whatever. There is such a... he can just retreat, play another plus power, and win the game, or play catcher. Yeah, there's a Junk Arm for catcher. And yeah, that's game over. Nick's at 1. And yeah, all he has to do is just retreat, and you win. Just retreat, and you win. 5 times 20 is 100 damage. There you go. Yeah. All right. So that was... These 2 games are like almost textbook on how each other deck wants to go. And the main key here is going first. Going first is so huge in this format right now. Like being able to go first for any deck just is a complete advantage. You get to draw your first card. You get to evolve before they do. You get to play energy before they do. You get to attack before they do. And there's no downside to going first. So, you saw it here. Zekrom went first game one, was able to wasn't able to attack right away, but he got that energy down and laid down the foundation. And then Nick, he got to go first with stage ones, got that Mew set up, got to do see off, and it just turned every Mew into a deadly force, which he would have liked to do that game one, but it just didn't happen. So now we're shuffling up for game three. Zekrom's gonna have a pretty big advantage. There's not much time left. So he's going to want to start taking prizes right away. He's going to be able to go first. And, he could just take one. If Nick starts with one basic, then game's over. If Nick starts with a bunch of basics, and then Zekrom Tornado starts attacking, then Steven's going to be in a great position going into the third game. And then Nick gets to draw his first card of the game. So, they're shuffling up. Not sure how this is going to play out. We've seen two textbook games, so let's see if we see something, hopefully a little stranger. Maybe they'll both draw bad, and we get to see who gets to navigate their way out of it. Which is actually a really mark of a really good player when. I think the best games are when games go unplanned, and you kind of just see who can navigate their way out of it. We have a torn sleeve. Not a big deal. Just get a replacement for that. Or is that a torn sleeve? No, it's just going through them. Okay. I'm not sure what Nick's doing here, worrying about that sleeve. He's really eating up that time. This is a timed match after all, and the less time he had. I mean, yeah, changing sleeves is important, but you want to just do this as quick as possible. So this is actually really good, because not enough time has passed to where the match will get called on time during the shuffle, but he's not going to get a lot of turns to start taking prizes. So we have a cut and a shuffle, and we're going to get into game three. And here we go. So, his hand can't really see what's in each other's hands right now, in their hands right now, but I do see a bunch of energy and a sage and a shaman for Steven. Oh, and a lone basic for Nick. Well, let's see what happens. What do we got? Zekrom and Zekrom versus a Yanma. That poor Yanma. We have a sage. There's dual ball. Oh no. Oh man. This could happen right here. Dual ball. 1, 2. Second one didn't even matter, but he gets the Pachirisu and just another Pachiro and a Shaman, just to make sure he can move energies correctly in case he messes up the first one. He's playing so fast right now. He's so excited. Yep. And there's a turn 1 Bolt Strike for game 3. Yeah. All three games, very textbook kind of. Game 1 went relatively how ZPST wants it. It would have been nice to have that turn 1 knockout, but just the general concept of keeping your opponent off balance was the real key there. Game 2 went exactly how Nick wants it. See off for Cincino, and then just start attacking. And yeah, game three, we had a turn one bolt strike against lone Yanma. That poor little Yanma. Well, that'll do it for the top eight of Virginia Regionals. And yeah, thanks for watching.